So just got from work and now I can finally relax. Today I had to be at work by 7:30, so I had to get up at like 6 in the morning. There was no taxi service available, or they can only pick me up at 7:30. And like I said, I had to be at work by 7:30, and there were no Uber cars available, so we had to bother our neighbor. Thankfully, he willingly did it. So I got to work, and then I had to call Uber this afternoon, and I was nervous that like Uber wouldn't be available even in the afternoon or late morning, I should say. But well, although it was 11:45, so it was close to 12 anyway. But, but they were, and I got home, and the Uber driver gave me his card. I think he recognized me from driving me before. But anyway, so I'm going to once again attempt to participate in Nonfiction November. I sort of did last year. I mean, I read a nonfiction book, so I guess that's considered participating, but it wasn't like I posted Instagram photos or did like Twitter or Instagram challenges if she did any. Which this is only hosted by Olive from A Book Olive, and she's one of my favorite booktubers. And it's really cool because last night yesterday, she accepted my friend request, on Goodreads, which was really cool because I always feel kind of apprehensive about that. I feel weird, and I did message her, but it's weird when it's someone that I only know through watching their channel. And yeah, you get to know booktubers because we talk about, a little bit about our personal lives, especially those who do the vlogging, which I don't know how to do. And so we do get a little bit of insight into their lives, but I still feel like I don't really know her that well. So I feel kind of weird. But I mean, that's what people do. You friend people on these, you subscribe to them and make friends with them. You might comment, and eventually your comments might lead to some kind of friendship. Or it might not, who knows. But anyway, so I read about the ghost of Virginia last year, of Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg. And it was really cool. It was kind of interesting reading about the ghost, and it was a very quick read. It didn't take me that long. Unfortunately, the books I have for this year's Nonfiction November are not as quick, but I want to try them. I'm still kind of new to nonfiction. I guess you could say I started reading it last year. Although I did read a biography or autobiography about Charlie Chaplin. And when I was I was taking women's American history in college. And so I was doing my, our final assignment, our research paper. I was doing Amelia Earhart, and I had hair about this length, I think, at the time. And so I was really all obsessing over Amelia Earhart, and even for Halloween, I curled my hair and got a leather jacket, which now I wear on a regular basis. In fact, it's my favorite leather jacket although I noticed the sleeves are kind of falling apart a little bit. But until it completely falls apart, I'm not getting rid of it. I prefer it over the other leather jacket. Although I do need to wear that other leather jacket because my mom, I don't think she'll want to get rid of it. But so I also got the biography on Amelia Earhart as well, which I never actually finished. Because I'm just with nonfiction, to me, it can sometimes be a hit or miss. Because, sometimes, nonfiction is people stating facts, talking about some topic and the facts about that topic. And so, unless you are really passionate about that topic, it can be kind of boring. And yes, I was interested in Amelia Earhart, but I'm one of those people that is interested in a subject or a historical figure or a famous person for a period of time, and then sometimes it will go away. Sometimes I will move on from being interested in that person. It's not it's not that I don't care about them anymore. It's just, you move on. So at one point I do want it, and I should do that one this November. But no, this November I'm going to, let me real quick tell you. So She does have these challenge. She will do all of them. Will do one word challenges where you pick a book that meets that one word that refers to that one word. Let me see if I can remember the challenges. So one of them is pastime, pastime, where it's like pastime as in a favorite pastime, and past as in past time, like a pastime. It's hard. It's something that I think you have to see it to understand what I mean. I mean, maybe you do understand. I don't know. And I mean, actually, I might just go ahead and put them on the little Dropbox below for this video. Then she has self shelf, micro macro, wander wonder. I think that's all four of them. I think there's only four. So past time. Pastime can either be like your favorite pastime, like everybody, like they always say baseball is everybody's favorite pastime, or it can be pastime as in the past. In self could be like someone's memoir. And shelf could be like a book that's been on your shelf for a long time. And she all does say in her video, and I think I might post her video. I might like find it, look for it, and post it on here. That it can you can interpret it how you want to. She's not gonna be overly critical or track you down and be like, you're not doing it right. You can. In fact, I think she encourages us to be more creative with these challenges. That's kind of that's kind of from what I got from her, and a mixture of what I got from her and how I interpret them. Micro macro is you can either choose something that has those words in it, either one of those words in it, or it can be the big picture or something within the big picture, like World War II, or World War II, or like an aspect of World War II, like what was going on with the Jews during World War II. You can read a book about that. And then the last one is Wonder or Wonder. I don't remember what she said that one was. Something, I guess, something to do with the mind, or when you are wonder as in ONDER could be something about the mind, your imagination, or wander as in WANDER could be traveling, or wandering the globe, or or wandering a certain country. Okay, so the first one I chose is Marie Antoinette. I might read 3 books, but it depends. Like I said, I am very, I'm still kind of figuring out how I feel about nonfiction and getting into it, and I did join Olive's group on Goodreads. So I'll post that as well. So I'm hoping I can get more into nonfiction. But this is a biography about Marie Antoinette, the famous French queen, Austrian queen of France, who married King Louis, one of King Louis. I don't know. I think it's the 15th or the 14th. I don't think it was the 16th. I think it was the 14th or the 15th. I don't remember. So, and I did dabble a little bit in it when I was, but unfortunately it was kind of hard to read. I brought it with me when we went to go see my sister, but first of all, my parents love listening to talk radio, or my mom more so than my dad. Especially Dr. Laura, who is a bitch and a very rude psychologist. But sometimes her bluntness is necessary, but I just can't but even if I agree with her bluntness, and I get sometimes why she gets all catty and bitchy towards people. It drives me crazy still, and I don't want to hear that. I mean, my mom listens to her because, like, when she goes on these road trips by herself, because it's easier for her to go to visit my sister or visit my grandmother than it is for my dad and I, because, like, he has a job at the golf course, even though he's retired. He still, because it's like really, we live in kind of a country club type town, so golf is really, and it's a golf town, so golf is really expensive when you become a member. It's over like $1,000. So if you become an employee, my dad will only have to pay $5 to golf. So he got a job at the golf course. He's like, he's kind of a maintenance guy. And he works a lot on weekends and every other Tuesday, I believe. And although now that winter is coming, no pun intended, he's not, I think his work will lessen because, it's hard to golf in the wintertime. And I work at a grocery store, so I can't, sometimes I work on weekends. Like, this coming weekend, I'll be working all weekend. I just found that out. So it's kind of hard for us to get away, but it's easy for my mom to get away because she only works like 2 days a week, and then she has 3 days off, and she doesn't work on weekends. Unless sometimes they will ask her to take a call. And like, it's she goes back and forth between working Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Tuesday. And then, she'll have a like 8-day straight off period. And that's usually when she goes to visit like my sister to help her with the boys or something. So anyway, long story short, they will listen to Dr. Laura, and so it is very hard for me to read in the car because it's a truck, so there's not much space between the front seat and the back seat. So I can still hear her, even if my dad adjusts the radio so that only he can hear it in the front, only they can hear it in the front, and it's a lot, like the volume is not as loud in the back. But like I said, there's not much space, so I can still hear it. So basically, it's just, the point is, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I can't tune it out. I'll have to like listen to my iPod, or if I bring my Walkman and listen to some CDs. But when I bring my Walkman, I have to bring batteries, and then my iPod doesn't last forever, And I mean, luckily with going to my sister's, I don't go for a run anyway. But when I go to my grandma's, I like to go for a run, because and I like to listen to my music while I'm running. So it kind of boosts my energy and makes it less of a chore. Like, it makes it easier to run. So I don't want to waste my battery life. Especially when my time is very limited. The daylight is limited. So it's very hard for me to read in the car. Not because because then I don't get car sick, but for those reasons I said that. My parents listen to talk radio, so I can't tune it out. And, my mom likes to listen to it because she does get angry and frustrated with Dr. Laura, but it keeps her awake. And I respect that, but then at the same time, I'm like, why? I don't get it. Why do you want to spend the whole trip being angry? Especially because, sometimes my mom gets a little frustrated with her mother, my grandmother. But so I can't read, and then my sister has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so it's very hard for me to read when we're visiting her, because then, there are times when I'm gonna help, watching the boys, or like getting stuff together, or sometimes, or just to play with the boys, and I don't mind that. It's just, it doesn't give me enough time to really read when I go down there, but I always, up there I should say, she lives up north, but I always bring a lot of books with me when we go to see her, or when we go to South Carolina where my grandma lives. But anyway, long story short, I did bring this one with me and read a little bit in the car on the way back, but it's just very hard for me to read, especially a book like this because it's nonfiction. So it's it's interesting, but it's just not like a fun fantasy adventure or something. Or it's not, the writing isn't as simple as a YA novel, for instance. But I only got as far as her birth, as, the author talking about Marie Antoinette's birth. But I'm gonna read this, and in this one, I think it could go to past time. So that's Marie Antoinette by Antonia Fraser. Marie Antoinette: The Journey. I don't know why this is my. Sometimes how when you sit sometimes a certain way and it kind of hurts your side, or if you bend and you're bent for a long time, it kind of aches a little bit. I'm like in an awkward position. And earlier today, I actually had to do some mopping. One of the managers asked me to mop the bathrooms, and I made things a little too hard for me and did not attach the mop container thing to the other thing, the other little thing. Sorry, I don't know what they're called, but yeah. And so when I was escorting it to the bathroom, I kind of had to bend, and it was hard to control the thing. So I probably made things a little too difficult for myself. But it was, I didn't entirely know what I was doing. That's only the second time, because no, I don't mop in my house. I still live with my parents, so my mom will do the mopping. Although I know I should learn how to do things like that. And I guess at school, the good thing about doing that at work is kind of teaching me how to do it. And it's really not that hard. It's, you're just taking like a mop, whatever shape it is, and dragging it across the floor. So, and the other book I'm hoping to have that as a book I'll squeeze in for another nonfiction book that I finished, because I did read Home, a memoir of my early years by Julie Andrews, back in around April, I believe. April or May, I read it. I think I read it in May, because I wanted to read it for my birthday, around my birthday month. So I'm hoping that Marie Antoinette will be another nonfiction I can squeeze in for the end of this year. Which I did talk about. I think I talked about that in my end of the year book tag. Okay, and the last one I want to read, which I know I won't finish. Well, not the last one, because there's another nonfiction book that I'm going to attempt to read. Which I think could also technically be applied to the micro challenge, macro challenge. I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, all of us was saying how it's how you interpret it. But I want to read this one because I'm really interested in biographies and memoirs of my historical figures and famous people that I'm interested in, and Walt Disney is one of those people. Walt Disney, The Triumph of American Imagination, and this is pretty big. This is nothing. I mean, this is one I definitely will not finish. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky, but I highly doubt it. It will be a very slim chance that I would actually get this finished, because I probably will take breaks in between the readings of it. But this is a biography about Disney, and as in the man Disney, not the company. And I already kind of knew some stuff about him, because there were a couple movies that came out. I think either one or two. I think maybe only one movie that came out about Disney and his life. So I knew a little bit, and also, I watched some of those videos that are like the urban legends or the secrets, the dark secrets of Disney, and some of them kind of revolved around Disney himself, like the whole thing about him having his head frozen, and which that one I believe they said wasn't true. It's just a rumor. And how he had in Walt Disney in Disneyland. I think that's what it's called in California, because I know it's Walt Disney World in Florida. That's what the park is called. But I think Disneyland is what the park is called in California, which is the first park. I wonder why they obviously they weren't going to have two parks called Disneyland, but I wonder where they came up with the world thing. But I don't know. But there is in the firehouse in the main square. He has an apartment there, and some people believe that it's haunted by his ghost, which I don't know if that's true or not. Because I believe in ghosts, but I don't, but still, I don't have any proof or evidence that ghosts exist. I like to believe in ghosts, and I'm not a skeptic, but, like I said, I don't know if ghosts are real or not, so I'm not 100% on it. I like the idea of there being ghosts. I know it's weird and creepy and everything, but I think it's the idea of a ghost, of someone hanging on because they have unfinished business. And plus, I love ghost stories. I've always been a fan of ghost stories. That's why Rose read the screenplay, not the screenplay by Stephen King, because he never actually wrote a book. There is a Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, the ghost, the woman, the female ghost in that story. But he had just wrote a screenplay and then had another author write the Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, which I just figured that out like last year, I think. But anyway, let's get back to this. This video is already pretty long because I tend to ramble. But yeah, I've always been kind of interested in Disney and learning more about him. And look at this big chunker. It's so huge. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting to read more about him. Oh, and another thing I know also is that there's this whole theory about why he kills off parents in his movies is because, or they're just non-existent, is because he and his brother I think it might have just been him, bought a house for their parents, and the gas line was not very good and it broke, and so that, I don't know if it was both his parents that died or just his mom that died. So people believe that he has lived with that guilt his whole life, or he lived, because he sadly isn't alive anymore. He lived with that guilt his whole life. So that's why people believe that is why Disney has killed off parents, particularly mothers, in his movies. But I cannot wait to read this. I should actually start this now. Because, look how big this book is. It's so big, and it's floppy. I do love floppy books. The problem is, the reason why I have no problem with mass market paperback books is they're easy to carry around, and they're cheaper. So, but I definitely get why people love mass market paperbacks. And this is a nice big mass market paperback. Okay, and then the last book that I might get to this November, if I'm interested, I might need to force myself, because this book is not my book. This is a book I borrowed from my brother-in-law. And he hasn't pushed me for it or anything, because, I think that him and my sister just don't have as much time during. They got their jobs, and then, and then they got 2 little boys, a 1 and 3-year-old, as I mentioned earlier. So it's just kind of hard for them to read. And plus, I don't think my sister was as into reading as I am. Although she likes it, she enjoys it, she's just not as hardcore of a reader as I am. Of course, there are people that I think are even more hardcore than I am, because I will sometimes choose to watch TV over reading a book, which I'm trying to break that habit, and I am starting to break it a little bit. I always make sure I read at some point during the day, not just when I go to bed, because sometimes I might be in bed at midnight, and it will officially be the next day. So you can't really count that. But that is John Adams by David McCullough. Now, I know that Rincey Reed said the writing is not as dry in her opinion, but I remember reading it, the little bit I've read so far, and it does feel, at least to me, it feels kind of dry. But for a while I was kind of interested in the American Revolution. There was this book. Oh, I'm sorry, Rascal. My Rascal on the other chair in my room, and I just threw my coat on the chair, my leather jacket, the one I mentioned that I wear as Amelia Earhart, and it kind of fell off the back. It kind of made Rascal jump a little bit. See, let me show you. Can you see him? See. There's Rascal. He's sleeping. He's the one that you see the tip of his tail sometimes in my videos. He likes to sit right behind me, or if I'm sitting here. It's more about the chair itself. He likes sitting in the chair. And let me show you. This is the window I'm always talking about. See, a nice little view. If you can tell, there's a nice little view of the driveway. And he likes to look out the window and bark at people as they drive or walk by. But anyway, so, you know, Ryan and my brother-in-law didn't really rush me or anything in getting the book to him. But I do need to get it done. I need to read it at some point. Although I thought about getting like the audiobook or buying a paperback copy of the book. But when I do that, I also like to buy more than one. A book that's more like exciting, fun, and thrilling along with a book like this. Because not that it's not exciting, not interesting, but like I said, I went through a period where I was kind of into the American Revolution. One of my favorite musicals is 1776. And what Hamilton is what motivated it. Because I downloaded I finally downloaded the soundtrack on my iPod. So next to Hamilton, 1776 is one of my favorite historical musicals. It's a really fun one about the whole creating of the Constitution and everything. And then, you know, I checked out that show on AMC, Turn. It's on Netflix if you're interested. It's about the whole war and stuff. It focuses more on the war part. It's Turn Washington Spies. It's like the first version of the CIA. And it was really cool and interesting. But again, you know, when it comes to history, sometimes I just lose interest in it. Like, I still like the topic. But then I get a little, I hate to say it, but bored. And, you know, like I said, I don't like saying it because I'm not interested. It's just I'm not interested at the time. I do need to get back into it, though. But yeah, so I got into that, and then, I was like, there were those two musicals I really loved, and I was kind of trying to read all these books about it, like fiction and nonfiction. But then I just kind of moved on. But either way, I still want to read this. And like, as you can see, I did start it, but that was like way before we even moved is when I started it, actually. So that was like 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. So it's been a while. But I mean, you know, and I thought about starting over with it, you know, but then I'm worried that I won't get past this current part that I'm on. Which, if I'm remembering correct, I don't remember. I know there's something like their meaning with the French or something like that. But anyway, so I might attempt to read this as well. So, dang it, that scared me. That's not the problem with this chair, it wobbles. But anyway, so that is my nonfiction reads this month. Like I said, I don't know if I'll get the John Adams, but either way, I need to read the John Adams book soon. Or at some point. Either that or I'm going to have to buy a paperback copy and give Ryan back his copy. But the two priorities, though, are Marie Antoinette by Antonia Fraser and Walt Disney and Triumph in the American Imagination by Neil Gabler. So, I'm definitely more interested in those. So are you guys participating in Nonfiction November? I would love to hear what you're reading, what your TBR is, if you're participating in Nonfiction in November. And like I said, I will post the links to Olive's channel in the Goodreads group below. And I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye.